Are you trying to dominate your fantasy football league? Do you want so many championship rings it's impossible to sign autographs? Well, crack open a beer, pour yourself a glass of bourbon, and settle in, because you've come to the right place. Welcome to HammerCast. We're here to talk all things football, barbecue, bourbon, and beer. Here are your hosts, Kenneth Smith, David Stidham, and Chad Taylor. It's time to grind.
Hey, welcome back to the HammerCast, you guys. We got a good one for you today. Yeah, Dave Levitt went on to do that right there. Hey, most of you know, if you're hardcore into fantasy football, that the Scott Fish Bowl is ongoing right now. People are drafting right now. We are lucky enough at HammerCast to have two of our members in leagues. They're in separate leagues, but we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about what they thought going into the draft, kind of how the draft has played out. But before we get started, let me introduce who I have with us tonight. We've got Mr. Hammerjack himself, David Stidham. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, man. I'm ready to have some fun. Talk Scott Fish Bowl.
Yeah, the Scott Fish Bowl. We got a lot more than that to talk about because who we brought on tonight was one of our very favorite members of our team. We've got Jesse Schuster, not Juju Smith-Schuster, but Mr.
Juju
Jesse
Smith-Schuster. I know.
Jesse,
I feel like that goes against me sometimes because I never have had Juju Smith-Schuster on any of my teams. It's just like a curse almost.
Well, I got the middle part, the Smith. I usually get a couple Smiths in there somewhere. But which is hard to avoid Smiths, I guess. And anyway, Jesse's with us. He's from down in Jacksonville. He's a big Jaguars fan, and he carries a lot of knowledge with him on DFS. Look at what he's got.
Oh my God.
Mustachio himself.
Oh, you know it, guys.
Mustachio.
The flavor.
The mysterious mustachio.
Yeah, I love it. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here tonight. This is going to be a really fun episode. We're coming off the tails of our Devy League podcast, and this one is just as good. I can't wait to get into it. So I tell you what, we're going to start. For me tonight, guys, just so you know, I'm drinking Mountain Lightning.
Mountain Lightning?
Yeah, man. Diet Mountain Lightning.
Diet Mountain Lightning.
I thought it was Thunder.
No. Thunder is related to Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Mountain Lightning is Mountain Dew. But
all right. You got something in it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got Captain Morgan's in there. Anyway, Jesse, what you got going on, Bubba?
Tonight, not much. I just got coffee trying to keep me alive. You know, it's a little time change over here.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, no doubt about it. David, what concoction have you come up with?
Well, I left the bourbon on the shelf tonight, boys. Tonight I'm drinking some Casamigos Reposado tequila.
In English, please?
That is English.
Oh, my bad.
That's the name of it, Casamigos.
I only had a couple of semesters of Spanish, and that one didn't come up.
But I've got it. I've got a couple of big cubes, and everybody likes a tequila sunrise every now and then. I actually tricked it out with a Monster Energy Ultra Sunrise Deep Orange energy drink since we're recording this pod so late. So I'm working on my –
That thing will get you going.
Yeah, we'll see how this is going at the end of this.
Yeah, we'll see what happens by the end here.
Yeah, Mr. Thick Tongue himself. Anyway, hey, let's get started. Let's talk about this Fish Bowl. This is exciting stuff. I got my invitation to at least to apply for next year, so I went ahead and did that. But you guys were lucky enough to get in. And I'm really excited to see how you're doing, kind of the strategies that you've taken. Who wants to go first and just kind of talk about what the Scott Fish Bowl is, what the charity ramifications are, what we're doing there, and all that kind of good stuff. Dave, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump on and do a broad view. Obviously, most of our listeners, they know what it is, but Scott Fish Bowl is something that's been going on for 10 years. This is the 10th year, and it's really designed to get all of industry analysts and people from everybody from ESPN all the way down to Yahoo Sports to you name it. Every
HammerCast
analyst
Network.
that's somebody that is usually invited into this tournament, and it's all for charity. If Fantasy Football Cares, and everybody's hashtagging SFBX this year for Scott Fishbowl 10, and Scott is very generous, and he believes in generosity, and the whole thing is geared towards being philanthropic and charitable, and it's really cool. Now he's also created a nice balance of analysts and super fans,
Right.
and a lot of these guys, let's just face it, they live and breathe on Twitter. That seems to be the platform of choice for the Scott Fishbowl. Obviously, there's a lot of folks that are on Instagram and Facebook and some of the other platforms, but it's a huge tournament, and it's the most prestigious fantasy football tournament out there. There's 1,200 teams, and it's just, you ever been invited to something really, really special, and all you want to do is just get an invite? It's like, imagine this. Imagine getting an invite to the Masters.
Yeah.
Or getting an invite to the Jack Daniel's World Championship of Barbecue, which I was fortunate enough to get invited to one year. And actually we finished 6th overall in that World Championship.
That's
but
awesome.
just to be in that company with all these experts and analysts is really cool. And so when I got that email early in the morning from Scott saying you're invited, it was a great day. And I know Jesse will kind of touch on the same thing because he was one of the later ones getting in. And so Jesse, we want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, I'm new to Twitter and this whole fantasy world of Twitter. I joined last year in August 2019. So I have not had a lot under my belt. When I entered this, when I started learning about Scott Fishbowl, I had maybe 10 followers. I was just kind of just doing my thing. I would work with my little local fantasy football league and type up little articles. And then I came across you guys were looking for, a writer and this and that. And I joined with you and then got with you guys real quick, and followers started going up. And then I joined a contest. I joined a game day face contest with Jeff Lambert. He's over
what? Yeah. Great guy.
Going for 2. He's the Armchair Fantasy Football Guy podcast. And it was just give us your best game day face. And, I thought it over and over, and I saw a bunch of entries. I'm like, God, what am I going to do here? I want a good game face. So I got I got one with my wife. My wife's a hottie. I got my wife. I got my cute kids in there. I took it, and we had it from before. Sent it in, and of course, this damn picture wins. I'm like, I can't believe it. Everyone's like, oh, we knew that one was going to win right away. Well, Jeff comes back and says it's totally automated. It's all about luck. It had nothing to do with him picking the picture or anything like that. So I was, I'm a pretty lucky guy. Most people that know me, I've got a luck streak that's pretty good. So winning this entry was amazing for me.
That's
Everyone
awesome.
else just was like, oh, you're just lucky. That's just the usual. But to me, at 6 a.m. that morning, I screamed on the top of my lungs to my wife and shook her, and she knew what was going on. She knows what the Scott Fishbowl is. And, I've been talking it up nonstop and telling her I will get in. Because I've been saying since day one, since I heard about this thing, I want to get into this thing and I want to win this thing.
That would
So,
be awesome.
Don't let anybody kid you. People, even the analysts who've been in it for several years, they aren't happy until they get that invite.
Yeah.
And believe me, I hit the refresh on my email so much I had to replace the button.
Yeah.
Because the paint was wearing off of it. And so that's how every day it's like I was infatuated. Like, man, I would love to get an invite, because all you do is you see these guys on Twitter saying, look, here's my invite.
Yeah.
I'm so honored. I'm so excited.
Every day.
And when I finally got mine, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I just couldn't. And at first, when I first started learning about it, I thought, because there was like 11,000 people that applied for it. And the whole time in my head, I thought 11,000 people were going to be in this thing. And I didn't realize that there was really only going to be, I think it's 1,440 is what the actual number is.
He increased it for the first time.
Okay. Yeah. And then on top of that 1,440, there's satellites to get into like an extra spot or something. So
I gotcha.
Now I realize that it's not only is it way less 1440, but on top of that, I don't know about your league, but my league, there's only 4 fans. So that tells me that there's a lot of, analysts. So for a fan, or, they have
really lucky to get in as a fan.
Right. They have me in as an analyst because I'm with you guys and I put HammerCast Network.
Okay, cool.
but at the time I was a fan. I was able to switch that now because I was with you. But
Right.
get in as a fan is even harder to do because it's just a small amount on top of a small amount that gets in. So
Yeah.
Well, what's
crazy.
interesting is I got in as a fan.
Oh, really?
And because like you, I joined fantasy Twitter last year as well, but it was more like in the early spring or late spring, early summer. And then everybody was like doing everything was fishbowl, Scott's fishbowl, and I was like watching all these guys on video talking about their drafts, and I'm like, well, shoot, man, how do I get involved in this? And they said, well, it's too late now, but you can sign up for next year. And so I signed up right away in June of last year, and so and of course I signed up as a fan because HammerCast wasn't a thing. And so it was kind of cool to get invited in as a fan. Now I'm signed up again for next year as an analyst, but we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, this is really exciting. It's fun, and the whole HammerCast thing, the way it's got legs and it's growing is really exciting, and it's almost amazing to me. We've only been live for maybe like 5 weeks, a little over a month, something like that.
Not long.
And
this is the slow season for and it's about to pick up.
Well, I know.
Right.
And I'm really glad that we got started when we did, because I think it would be almost impossible to try to keep up trying to start right at the beginning of the football season.
Yeah,
this gives us time to kind of get it together. And guys, if
we're building our base.
And if you're listening to the podcast right now, please go check out hammercast.com. I promise you that you're going to get something valuable. You're going to get something that you can use in your leagues and in your strategies. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. On the Scott Fishbowl, can you give me an idea or give me a breakdown on the scoring? Because this is different than what most people play. We know what standard scoring is and standard formats and those kind of things. But can one of you guys kind of tell me what the scoring system is before we go into the
Go ahead, Jesse.
strategy?
Is that right? I studied scoring system. I'll sit there and look at scoring systems forever, so I pretty much got it down pat.
Mm-hmm.
For quarterbacks, you've got 6-point passing. You've got what is crazy this year. Last year I guess it was a video game, so there's high scoring and bonus points and things like that. That's not there anymore.
Well, we'll just also let them know that the scoring is different. He tweaks it every year.
Yeah, way different.
So it's never the same.
This year, and that's what I started focusing on, is this year it seems that the quarterbacks are going to go less in points, but people are still thinking that they're taking them higher. And I noticed I did a lot of articles and reading about quarterbacks and taking them later. Well, let's get to the point. For completion, it's half a point, and for an incompletion, it's -1 point. So you have to kind of look at your guy, at your quarterback, as having a good completion percentage. You can't have like a Josh Allen that's at a 50%. They have to get towards.
He completes a lot of passes to the fans.
Yeah. You have to get 63% or somewhere around there and above to actually start getting a return on your points back to your quarterback, so to speak. Just in that category. On top of that, sacks are -2 and interceptions are -4. Pick sixes.
That's crazy. -4 on interceptions.
Yeah, and pick sixes are an additional -2, I think it is, David, right? Or no, an additional 4. A pick six total would be -8 points, I think it is.
See, I like that because we actually did that in one of our leagues. Jesse, I don't think you're in this league, but in
our Masters League.
Is it the Masters or the Pandemic League? I can't remember, but we made it. I think maybe both of them. We made a pick six really hurt because in real life, that hurts, man.
It's devastating. Trust me. I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, a Blake Bortles truther for quite some time. I know a pick six hurts.
I hear you.
Let's jump in the rest of the scoring here.
Yeah. Sorry. Running backs, pretty basic, but your first downs are going to give you a bonus of 0.5. So that's huge for a lot of your bigger running backs. Ezekiel Elliott, Chubb. We'll get into all that here in a second. Wide receivers. Same thing with first downs. You get a half a point. Basic scoring, 1 point will get you 10 yards, gets you 1 point.
Right.
A half point reception as well. What is also key in this is a premium tight end. So tight ends are also going to get those 1 point or half a point per reception, 1 point for every 10 yards, but they're going to get a bonus, half a point for every first down, and a bonus half a point for every reception. Right. So their receptions are full point receptions. So now, I talked back and forth about, one of my first choices was Kelsey or Mike Thomas, and it came to me. Kelsey got taken right in front of me. But when I was deciding between those two, when you look at their receptions and their first down receptions, although Mike Thomas had a ton more, when you look at that premium with that tight end, Kelsey almost is dead even with him with that premium that's been added.
Kelsey was the number 2 receiver last year in the scoring system.
Yes, exactly.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah,
right. So the tight end premium is huge. Outside of that, the amount of starters that you have is a lot that is new to me. It's a super flex, so you have 4 flex spots, but only one of those is a super flex. Okay. You start a normal quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and 1 tight end. Your bench is 11 deep, so you're looking at a 22 round, 8-hour time limit draft.
Yeah, a long draft. Yeah,
mine's going a lot slower than yours.
Yeah, it is. You said you're at the 6th round, and I'm at the 12th round right now. So and for me, I'm more of a instantaneous guy. So it's draining me.
Driving you nuts. Oh yeah, I hear you. So let's just jump right into your drafts. Who wants to go first? Tell us what pick that you had. Before you say what pick that you got, tell me what pick that you wanted, other than first.
David, you go first, buddy.
Yeah. I actually got the privilege of picking my pick, cool. And I picked pick 6 because in this draft, when I looked at, I put all my players in tiers, and when I looked at the tiers, there was a clear 6-player tier at the front, and that's pretty easy to call. It's Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. And then it's your big 4 running backs. It's CMC, Barkley, Zeke, and Kamara. After that 6, it's kind of a shuffleboard between Kelsey and Thomas and Kittle and Hopkins and Mixon and some of those guys. And so I wanted to be on the back end of that 6, knowing that any one of those 6 would be great for me because I'm going to get a better pick on the way back.
On the back, yeah. On the
and
back
so also what picking 6 did for me was it prevents me from getting stuck in a run. If there goes a quarterback, a major quarterback run or something else, I'm picking every 12 picks. It's balanced, and so I can either stop or start a trend or trail off of one, and so that's why I picked number 6.
So Dave, in your league, you've got it pulled up. I think you got your draft board, and it's only 6 rounds. Tell us, give us a rundown who went right before you, and then who you picked, and then just kind of tell us what your strategy is here and what happened.
Well, the funny thing is I'm every pick has a Twitter kind of a group page where all the guys from pick 6 have a special group, a Twitter group, and there's like 50 of us.
That's
another awesome aspect, actually.
That is really cool.
I'm in the crazy 8s. I'm in the crazy.
And everybody, and we're the Dixon 6.
Oh boy. That reminds me of that cider. What was that cider called back in the day?
Dickens?
Yeah, that's it.
So anyway, we all talk about what our plan, our strategies, and all those kind of things are. But so actually the main guy for the Scott Fishbowl Podathon, which was a 24-hour podcast, Sal Lito, he had the first pick in my cardboard box division. And, of course, he went CMC. Here was a little shocker here. The second pick ended up being Zeke Elliott, and I was hoping to get Zeke at 6. And so I was a little surprised when he went to red shirts. And then Patrick Mahomes went number 3. And so here we are, the guy sitting at 1-4. Hey, welcome to the team, Saquon Barkley. And so he had to feel really good about that. And so I knew my pick was coming up, and I had my choice. But I was going to have one of the two.
One of the two, yeah.
Lamar Jackson or Kamara, and I was
would you have gone Lamar Jackson?
For Lamar, but I was happy that I ended up with Kamara. Lamar went at number 5. And so, but you know me, I'm a running back guy. That would have been the first time
ever that you took a quarterback in the first round.
I know.
I don't care what scoring.
It saved me from having to come out and say that. because I was thinking about that. I said,
And
am I going to have to
Crow.
really tell everybody and exposed to the world that I took a quarterback in the first round?
Exposed to the world. So
Because it's never been done before.
Yeah, so you got Kamara. That's an awesome pick. A lot of people have him slotted, as the number 2 this year, and you got him at 6 as far as running backs.
Well, in this league, that half point per reception, it does go a long way. And then you get the half point first down. The fact that he gets them both rushing and receiving.
Yeah,
I really felt like there's some upside there. And then, of course, in tradition fashion that Kenneth and Chad and I always do, is I backed that up with another running back. It was just the value was just too good. I got Nick Chubb at 2.7. And so I got Kamara and Chubb back to back. And then coming back around down to the third round, you guys know we did a complete podcast on this guy, and I still believe he's being overlooked. I took Jonathan Taylor. The reason I took Jonathan Taylor as my third pick was the big 4 tight ends were gone. As a matter of fact, the big 4 were gone: Ertz, Andrews, and
Kittle,
of course, Kittle and Kelsey both went first round.
Mm-hmm.
And so that in the top 4 quarterbacks were also gone, or top 6 quarterbacks. And so I said, you know what? Here's my value. I'm going to take a guy in the middle of the third round that I think is going to grade out in a second round pick. And so, but I knew that once I got to the fourth round, I had to go ahead and grab a quarterback because Stafford was gone, Wentz was gone, Daniel Jones. I mean, they were just dropping off. And so I grabbed Aaron Rodgers. And you know how we talked about quarterbacks can get hurt by interceptions and those kind of things. Aaron Rodgers only has 6 interceptions in the last 2 years combined.
That's insane.
And so, his efficiency, his intelligence on the field, he's no longer the Aaron Rodgers of old where he's the instant MVP. But I believe that getting him in the late 4th round could be beneficial for me. But then we come back to the 5th round, and I'm just wrapping this up.
Yeah.
I went in and took my first receiver because there was still a wide receiver 1 on the board, and definitely in my rankings, and that's Allen Robinson in the middle of the 5th.
I think that's ridiculous.
And I love that guy.
I would have to see the board to see how it fell, but that seems like –
Yeah. Put it this way, DJ Moore went right before him, and that would have put me in a
but here's the deal on DJ Moore is that week 13 that you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I hadn't even really discussed. I've talked about it with the Dixon 6, and is week 13, the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers both have a bye week. That's because it follows Thanksgiving week. And so that's the first week of the playoffs. And to me, it's just not worth it. If I have my choice between it's really close between DJ Moore and Allen Robinson, I'm going to go with the guy that I know is going to score points in week 13 versus the guy that's guaranteed a 0.
Well, it doesn't do you any good to get to the playoffs if you can't win a game.
Right. To catch some people up that might not be aware, it's the Scott Fish Bowl starts week 13 is the playoffs. So if you can get a bye before that, then you can obviously skip that and avert that. But
but each conference has 48 teams that make the playoffs.
Yeah.
32 have to play in that first round, and only 16 have a bye.
Yeah, there's not many that get the bye. I understand that, but you could. But you're right. That week 13, you really have to look out. CMC, obviously, you're not going to pass up on him just because you're worried about week 13. But some of these later guys where you're filling that roster spot, you do have to be aware of.
Yeah.
Right. And so we're just now as a matter of fact, I've taken the last pick in our draft, and we've been sitting there for a couple hours now. And I went ahead and took my 4th running back. And so after Allen Robinson, I grabbed Darius Geis with 6.7. And I think Darius Geis, if healthy, has a round 2 grade for me. And, and he's got a really high ceiling. And so, in this kind of tournament, you want to shoot for the upside, and you can't play it safe. And so I'm just going for it. And I'm going for it the way I know how to go for it, and that's heavy running backs that have the high upside. Yeah. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I know Jesse, he's been lucky. He's got twice the amount of picks as I have already, but you're going to love hearing Jesse go. He's almost complete opposite, but I don't know if it was what he planned.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. It wasn't exactly planned. I got to draft out of the 8th spot, which I realized, afterwards when I started breaking everything down, I didn't choose that spot. I chose my Pet Monsters division because I actually requested when Scott Fish was putting out, we need some new spots, some new toys, whatever. My favorite toy back in the day was like my tag team partner was my Pet Monster. So I not only
Kenneth has a pet monster he likes to.
I not only got it in there, but I was able to actually get in the division that I picked to use, and he used. So that was kind of cool. I didn't care where I got put, so I just put wherever. Realizing now, shouldn't have done that. Should have put 1 through 6. But I chose also the My Pet Monster division, and kind of like with your cardboard box division, I was told, going after the G.I. Joe, I love G.I. Joes, the Lego's my thing. I'm the king of like Jack's Lego here. I sell more Lego than anything of these garage sales, but I couldn't get into those divisions because there was a lot of people, and I saw people were posting how many were in each
huge
division.
Request for them.
Oh, crazy, 150, in each one. And I'm like, that's insane. I'm not trying to get that. So I just went into a division that was wide open, empty, picked whatever spot he gave me, and gave me the 8th spot. Unfortunately, when it came to, I had the choice between Kelsey and Mike Thomas. Like David said, it was the 6 off the board. Then it went Kelsey, and then it came to me at Mike Thomas. I was comfortable taking the number 1 wide receiver in the draft. After that, that's where things kind of, I wouldn't say derailed, because I was feeling, in this draft, you have to be contrarian to everything. That's all I heard is you have to be different. You have to be different. You have to be different. But then every analyst said the same thing. Go running back, go running back, go running back, go running back. And I look, and every team is literally running back, running back, running back. And I'm like, why don't I at this point, since it's such a verity with these wide receivers and no one cares about them in this league for some reason, let's go make a run at these things. Yeah. And sure enough, it's amazing. In the first 3 rounds, there were 6 wide receivers taken off the board, and I have 3 of them. I have Mike Thomas, Devontae Adams, and Hopkins as my first 3 picks. That's insane. I just said I couldn't get off the wide receiver because they were so good and nobody was picking them. I mean, literally, I had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 quarterbacks taken before these wide receivers. And, I'm struggling a little in the quarterback department, but I waited. I mean, I waited more. I didn't want to be the guy that got the record for the first quarterback taken, but in the 6th round, I took my first, and that was Jared Goff. And that, in most leagues I was looking at, in the 6th round, Jared Goff, that's kind of taking him a little early. All the other leagues, I was like, there's quarterbacks for days left over. But in this one, there was nothing. I mean, they left me nothing. The dagger that really got
on that bone.
Yeah, the dagger that really got me, and this one, I mean, I almost chalk it up to maybe not allowing everyone to follow me and write great articles about Gardner Minshew, but the guy that had Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray already and had hardly anything else in the 7th round right before me takes Gardner Minshew when I only had Jared Goff. And I was like,
if I could just on the ground,
shattered. And you know why I was shattered? And I was going to bring it up a little bit later, but I want to just get it here now. Everyone keeps
talking chest, Jesse. Go ahead.
Everyone keeps talking about Murray, right? Murray last year, this is his stats. I know we've talked about it. Offensive rookie of the year. The guy was 64% completion, 3,722 yards with a 20 touchdown to 12 interception ratio and 48 sacks. In the Scott Fish kind of scoring, that's not very good. But people are taking Murray as the 4th quarterback off. Now, let me read you Gardner Minshew stats.
Oh, Lord.
60.6% completion, 3,271 yards, 1 more touchdown, and only 6 interceptions. With only
less games, right?
With less games and only 33 sacks, a good amount less. I know he was in 2 less games, but he had a lot less sacks and almost the same amount of yards and more touchdowns. So I'm just trying to figure out either this guy read my article or he just really hates me because he took Kyler Murray and Minshew to rub it in my face.
Well, if he was smart, he would have read the article to know his competition going into the draft.
Yeah. People are picking up on the mustache.
Yeah,
mustachio.
And it wasn't just me. I honestly, right before we started this draft and as it was going, people were dropping like articles about him and things, and I'm just like, oh God, I kept messaging people.
Just remember, you put yours out way before them.
I know. I rebounded a little bit in the second day with running backs. I went the Jared Goff and 3 running backs, so I was able to get David Johnson in the 5th. And this sucks, but Mostert in the 7th, and then Ingram in the 8th. So Ingram in the 8th is kind of a huge value, which kind of helps that Mostert in the 7th.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, I think that's your best pick.
Yeah,
I would not worry about Mostert, by the way.
Right, he's not going anywhere. He can ask for trades all he wants, and supposedly he just wants to get close to what the other running backs in the room are getting. Coleman makes $4 million. He makes special teams money. He just wants to get up to the $4 million. That's nothing. He's going to get there. They're going to re-sign him.
They'll get that figured out.
Yep.
That or
he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to pay more for a right to pay him more.
Right. That's what I'm hoping for. So I started out with this 4 wide receiver, 1 running back, 1.
But you didn't say your 4th wide receiver.
Oh, sorry. And this is the only one that I honestly really wanted more than all of them. That's DJ Moore. I think the guy's going to go buck wild this year, especially in this format with the first downs. He does a slant for a first down on 3rd and 7 almost every single time it's 3rd down. So that's automatic points they're just going to be racking up. They're going to be down in a lot of games. They have a terrible offense.
I love him. But I'm just worried about that whole week 13 thing. But I'm paranoid.
But that's not as – he doesn't have to put, he's got depth there.
That's why I got Marvin Jones in the 12th just a second ago. So I can plug that guy in. I'm not too worried about my wide receivers.
No, you're good.
Where I do worry a little bit, I shouldn't worry about my receivers, I guess. But where I worry is my second quarterback. I waited, and I took Cam Newton. And to me, I'm a believer in a second chance, but I'm going to have to get Stidham or something to just make me at ease because I don't know. I really don't. And if he gets hurt, I'm really screwed. I'm putting myself out there. There's not many quarterbacks left.
Is David Carr still out there?
No. Somebody took him as a 3rd
He's going in the 5th round.
Yes, really? Someone took him as a 3rd quarterback.
Yeah, his efficiency is so good.
Yeah, I know.
Kenneth, you did a big thing on him.
I know.
And people pay attention to this stuff. I will say this, that I saw a couple of really compelling arguments against using a second quarterback in your flex. Because once you get down to a certain point, those guys that are throwing a lot of incompletions or taking a lot of sacks, and you get a high end, you get a guy like a DJ Moore that you could put in that super flex spot, or a
tight end that's getting premium points, bonus points.
Exactly. There's a lot of guys with high floors that are actually higher than the potential negative for these harsh quarterback scores.
And honestly, David, you could not have said it more perfect. What I based a lot of that off of and waiting on a quarterback so much is there was – I wish I could think of the guy right now to give him props. There was a guy that did a pro rate – the guy that – I think you bought the thing. It was $1 for the –
for Madison Hayes.
Yeah. So he
Great
gave
guy.
a projected – of what some quarterbacks would get and things, and projected from last year. They looked at games from last year if they were to use the Scott Fish points, and there were lots of quarterbacks that got minus points for weeks. Sam Darnold in 1 week had minus 25 points for a week.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are factoring that in. And so, you're talking about a pick 6 -8. That's huge. There's a lot of quarterbacks that might throw 2 of those in one game to start a game.
That's why I would rather play a guy like Tariq Cohen or Darius Geis in my Superflex league versus my second quarterback that's playing the 49ers defense.
Hey, I was listening to a show on YouTube this morning, Bobby Sylvester, and he was talking to Tags and those guys. Do you know, and this is kind of getting off the rails a little bit, but you talking about how big a -8 is, it just reminded me. Do you know that Phillip Rivers has never scored over 30 points, fantasy points in his entire career?
Wait a minute. Last year against the Jags, he had like a crazy amount of touchdowns.
I'm telling you. They looked it up while
I've heard
on the show.
that for like a few weeks now. He's never had I don't know what the scoring system was, but –
well, I'm so glad because my choice was either Cam Newton or Phillip Rivers, and I went with Cam. I mean,
Phillip Rivers is pretty efficient, I think. But
he is, and up behind a good offensive line this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, but can you imagine getting a couple of -8 on a guy that doesn't ever have. Anyway.
Jameis Winston had more interceptions in one game than
Jameis
Aaron
Winston
Rodgers
probably
had in 2
negative
years.
for the year last year, and that's
Right. That's the thing. A guy like that will have, he might not have negative, but he's going to have low points. Even if he's scoring touchdowns and getting completions, he's getting incompletions, he's getting interceptions, and he's getting sacks. And that's a lot of points taken off. And
yeah, there's definitely more chance for negative points than there are for positive points.
right. And my wide receivers and running backs, that they're not going to get negative points. And a lot of these guys took these, and especially my league is where I'm really focused at, is they took the quarterbacks really high. And yeah, it might pan out in their favor, but for now, I'm just going with it. And to wrap up my thing, I was trying to go contrarian. It turned out, I don't know if you guys looked at it's the ADHD or something app on Roto Grinders. It shows you, it breaks down everything. You can look up the whole Scott Fish, like who drafted who, where, whatever. Well, I'm the only one that went 4 wide receiver, 1 running back, and 1 quarterback to start. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be the only one with my kind of lineup, and I did it. So
and I haven't actually checked it, but I will tell you this. I don't know if there's many people that went 4 running backs out of their first 6 picks.
Yeah.
Nobody in my league has 3. And so the fact that I have 4 out of 6, and then I got 1 quarterback, 1 receiver, and you know what?
That's all right.
If the value presents itself, I'm just going to keep going contrarian and keep going guys that I know they're going to get a workload.
Yeah. Just wait, because honestly, I passed on still so much more value at wide receiver, and I was like, I can't keep going wide receiver. I honestly could have kept going, but I'm like, I can't do it. But there is a lot of value left that dropped, especially in our league. I mean, it was deep, so I wouldn't freak about that. I think you were smart in the sense of going with those running backs.
I'm playing my game, and it's the draft is falling right in my wheelhouse. And Kenneth and I draft very similarly. Similar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a little more tequila.
Yeah. But Kenneth and I draft very, very closely, and we
just avoid that.
We go for those running backs, and I just believe in them. I believe in, especially the running backs I have that are all
starters,
scoring both passing and receiving, rushing.
Hey, so before we move on, listen, everybody that knows anything about the Scott Fish Bowl understands what it is, but just in case you're kind of lost as last year's Easter egg, this is a redraft league. So when we're talking about some of these players, like, some of these older guys, you're going, man, those guys are getting old, this kind of thing. Remember, you just need them for this year. Like Ingram, for example. I was going there because that's what I'm impressed the most with your team, Jesse, is you got all these stud wide receivers, and then you got your running backs. Yeah, they're older guys, right? But dude, they're starting on their team. And
I have another theory for that, but there's a lot in the thought process, but I have a big feeling about this COVID stuff messing. It's already talking about messing up an entire preseason. The offseason.
It's already over. Preseason's out.
Right, it's gone. OTA's gone. Preseason gone. The rookies, to me, are going to have a very hard time not only seeing the field but getting the playbooks, getting everything down.
Except Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Okay. But it's going to delay them some. Whether it's a week, 2 weeks, it's going to take them a little longer than it was a normal season. So for me, Mark Ingram now might go 6 weeks into the season of starting instead of 4 weeks. So the value for Mark Ingram is much more in this season.
I think Mark Ingram starts all year, personally.
Yeah. But in fairness, the running backs have a whole lot less learning curve than the receivers.
They do. That's why I took stud wide receivers that are not
exactly.
You know what? They do.
So ultimately, we have 2 of us. One of them went heavy up wide receiver. The other went heavy up running back. It's going to be really fun keeping up with both teams and seeing where we land. And so I'm excited about it.
I think that we should put it right on the website.
We'll track them every week. We'll track how we're doing,
so everybody can kind of see.
I'll be blasting it nonstop. Trust me.
Hey guys, that was fun. That was awesome. I wish so bad I was in the league this year, and hopefully I'll get in next year. But one of the reasons that we've got Jesse on our team is because of his expertise at DFS.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people either play DFS, have heard of DFS. Some people don't know what the hell DFS is. So this is Jesse's wheelhouse, and I want Jesse to kind of talk to us, talk to our audience, fill us in, give us some just Give us some of your knowledge, if you will.
Yeah, not a problem. So for me, a few things. I'm a math teacher. I graduated in education, mathematics. It's my thing. Numbers are my thing. I'll never forget since day one, like my parents still kind of busted me at 13 doing the college hoops bracket at school. This has been in my blood since day one. It's what I love to do. Fantasy football itself has been part of my life forever. I'm the commissioner of a league for 15 years now, and I've got a lot of people that look up to me and look up to my thoughts and ideas here in Jacksonville. And
you're a natural fit with us, man.
Yeah, I really do feel I love you guys to death, and I really feel like I fit well with this. And I like our whole crew, Kevin, John, all you guys, Chad, all of you. But with DFS, this, when it first came around, just like everyone else, I wasn't very good at it. It took a few years to actually be good at it because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just putting money out there and losing it. You really have to. I took the approach more of kind of like a stocks approach. I love stocks back in the day. I don't deal with it too much, but I just love numbers. I love
penny stocks.
Yeah, penny. Yeah, exactly. I love doing that kind of stuff. I love making money. Who doesn't? So when you can take a sport that you love and players that you love and take a little side cash and make some money off of that, that's kind of fun. So it took a little while, and it took a lot of research to figure out how you can make money off of no money. And what I mean by that is, not no money. You're going to have some money to play, but I'm a teacher. A lot of us are, especially during these times, half of America lost their jobs. We're unemployed, whatever.
Yeah.
Collecting unemployment. So to me, it's to take $20 or whatever you can afford. Even if it's $10, $1, I'll just show you how to take 25-cent jukebox thing and make some money.
I love the jukebox, and that's a cool point you just made. Is the fact that your bankroll for DraftKings, you can start a bankroll with $25.
Yeah,
and you can play 25-cent games, and you can play 20 of them a week.
Yeah, and just slowly
build your bankroll up.
Have fun, maybe hit on one of those 25-cent tournaments, and get a few bucks here and there and just slowly build it up. And that's more of maybe first year practice, maybe putting if it's your first year, $25 in, saying to yourself, hey, I don't want to put any more because I don't want to risk more. If you want to start with 250, that's fine. We can show you everything you need to know to start with 250. If you want to go more, I'll be glad to expand my numbers to go more. But basically, you guys are giving me opportunity to kind of showcase everything that I've already been doing. I've got guys that text me nonstop. What's the play? Who am I going with? People calling me. What is it? So now I'm just taking everything that I already do and putting it on paper and just giving it to the people for free. And it's kind of funny. I wrote it up in the article there. I wanted it to be called the Robin Hood of DFS because I'm kind of taking from the rich and giving to the poor, so to speak. We're trying to take down those sharks. We want to stay away from the sharks, but they have a lot of the money, and some of the other guys, some guys that have money are up there. We're kind of taking from them and trying to give back to the guys that are just making it, just starting, whatever.
I love it.
So I've kind of, that first part, it starts out with, forming a crew and, the juice in Vegas and things like that. And, it goes into depth about it, but you have to have some kind of tools. You have to have some kind of system. If you're just putting your money out there and saying, hey, I know sports, I know fantasy, then
this guy might do good.
Yeah, you might hit some every once in a while, but if you want to stay consistent, you have to have some kind of actual philosophy. You have to have something that you're doing each week. There's a lot of things that go into it, and I realize that it is a lot more than just, hey, I'm the commission, I know plenty about football, I can come in here and play some picks and go.
Right.
It's not
well, the cool thing about what Jesse's saying, and I love DFS, and I play all of them. I play everything from Monkey Knife Fight to FanDuel to DraftKings, and I've got a bankroll strategy for all of them, and I mix it up with GPPs as well as cash plays. Your cash plays, and in the articles that are coming out that Jesse has written for us, really break all that down. What is cash versus a GPP? How does it work? And what is a contrarian lineup versus a cash lineup? Because they're totally different. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it really simple for you and trying to help you understand the differences so you can develop a strong strategy. And, just a real quick breakdown. Cash is a safe floor.
Yeah.
And GPP as contrarian as you can possibly get, because there's a lot of people playing it, and there's going to be a lot of people picking, chalk. And so how do you get different and get some of those players? And so, please, guys, go to hammercast.com and check out the article that's about to drop. As a matter of fact, it's going to be dropped by the time this podcast comes out. And Jesse has put a lot of time into it. And Jesse, talk about the leagues that you want to set up.
Yeah. So, it goes into part 2 and talks about a few things. In part 3, 3 parts. So that's why I said there's a lot of information when you're talking about DFS explained to everyone. I broke it down, and I love my father-in-law to death, but I broke it down as if I was explaining it to my father-in-law and telling him about DFS.
Smart.
So, and it is, he knows about football and he wants to do this stuff. He's just like one of the guys that we're talking about. We want him to be successful in this, but he has no clue and doesn't want to put his money and lose it. So I was like, wait a minute, how can I break it down for him? And I did. So getting to the games, in the third part, for the HammerCast leagues on DraftKings, anyone and everyone that wants to get into it, all they have to do is message me at Jack's Commish, and I'll be glad to I've already set it up and starting to set it up, but we're going to have quite a few different games to offer at different levels, so I'm not going to be, I'm not going to play in the beginners, novice. I'm going to play in the everyone divisions, whatever we have, so to keep it wide open for all the beginners. On Thursdays, we'll have a $3 Captain Showdown on Thursday night only, and Captain Showdown game, we'll get into that, but it's a 6-person player where you pick out of one game and you pick a captain that gets 1.5 bonus points for that game. We'll get into that as the season goes on.
You know what? That Showdown, I did really well with Showdown last year.
I love Showdowns. I absolutely love it. I love Showdown, the tournaments, just for the one-game slates, because I dig deep into these games. And now that we got this guy here.
Oh, boy.
The Devi knowledge guy.
Yeah.
And John with his team projections. I mean, I'm reading these guys' stuff, and it really is just – I thought I couldn't go any deeper, and these guys are like helping me go deeper with this stuff, and it's crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up, because what John Camacho, what he's going to start talking about, and we're going to be talking to him tomorrow.
Yeah.
This offensive line versus defensive line matchup, wide receiver versus cornerback matchups. Those are all critical elements to picking DFS players, and so
it's nuts. I can't
provide all those tools.
Yeah, I can't wait to work with both of them. They really got some depth in some of those spots. For Sunday, we got the basic full game slates. We'll have a 1 o'clock slate where we'll just do the 1 o'clock games. We'll do the 4 o'clock games. We'll do everything. And then there will kind of be beginner, novice, and everyone slate. $1, $3, $5. If I find that a bunch of people are requesting we want to go more, I'll be glad to go more, and we can put some more money on the line. It's up to you guys. Sunday, there is every once in a while what we call wakey, eggs, and bakey. You guys know what that – well, actually, we won't have it this year because there are no more London games for this year. Usually I put that in, so I'll have to kind of take that one off of there. The Sunday afternoon, I call the Afternoon Delights 4 o'clock game. And then we have the Sunday night prime time and Monday night game. So they'll do the Sunday night and Monday night connected together, usually like a $2, $3 tournament. Then again, the Monday, the Captain Showdown Monday night game. So there's a ton of different games out there. And these are, this is only just a small amount. This is just what we'll run off of our HammerCast. If we want to run a quarter one, because we have some guys that are even want to do just like 10 cent, there's 10 cent ones, there's 25 cent ones. We'll do it whatever level we want.
We're going to keep the entry level low, or the entry fee low.
Yeah.
And but the whole idea is to get our listeners and our audience participating in learning how to do this, and then venturing off and playing the big GPPs and playing the tournaments and doing all those fun things. And so we're here to help you guys throughout this. Take away the intimidation factor.
Well,
I'll tell you this. I'm gonna predict this right now. I predict Kenneth Smith, Hammerconda, is going to be a DFS addict.
Oh, yeah.
When he starts getting into it. He is going to lose his mind.
If you haven't touched it yet, you're going to be in
oh, my God.
You guys
it's so much fun.
I have not dove into it.
Wait till he wins his first $1, and then all of a sudden it's off.
$1.
Dude,
I'll be auctioning off some of our giveaways just so I can keep.
And there's nothing more fun than that sweat when the kickoffs start on Sunday afternoon.
Oh my God!
And you're literally watching live scoring of all your lineups, and you're saying, okay, like I play the Millie Maker every week, and that's where you spend $26 and you have a chance to win $1 million. And of course, a lot of people play it, and you can play max entry. I'm never a max entry.
150 max entry, $3,000 every day,
every week
if you want.
But here's the thing: is it's fun. Like at 3:00, looking at yourself right there in a $15,000 winning spot, and you're just praying for guys to hold on and praying for your late game guys to have good games. And then you can do that late afternoon swap where if you're watching what's going on with the early games and you got that, you feel like you could figure out what's going on with the guys above you, where they're at based on their salaries, and you could do that late swap. You know what? I think he has the exact same player going in the afternoon. I got to do something different for my chance to win. And so there's all these things we're going to teach you guys, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, those articles, like they said, go ahead and check them out. There's 3 of them. If you don't find something new to you, then come talk to me separate. We'll find something new for you because I've got plenty of information in there that'll help you.
Jesse, what's your Twitter handle?
Twitter at Jax Commish, and that's it. Hey.
And final thoughts on the DFS thing. We are going to do, just like the Devy League, we are going to do a weekly show.
Definitely
with Jesse here, and we're gonna talk about some of what we feel are the best plays of the week for every position, and so that's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a ton of fun.
Definitely, I like to talk everything: Vegas point spreads, over unders, all that kind of stuff. On those weekly meetups, we'll talk all that stuff.
Jesse, do you do much college?
I don't, unfortunately. That's why when you guys started that Devy, it was kind of interesting to me because that's the first time I've ever heard of Devy. I mean, literally, I've never heard of intermingling NFL and college. So it blew my mind, and I'm very interested. And I've actually got a few friends. I wanted to talk to you guys off the air and see if we can get another league going, another Devy league. Right?
Well,
we're
I saw.
actually
I tagged a few. I saw that there was. I'm tagging them to go listen to the other ones so that they can get into it.
Put in for the contest for the entry. Yeah, we haven't determined yet what that entry fee is going to be, but it's going to be a little higher than the normal $50 or whatever. So a free entry into that's pretty good. Dave, where do you want to take it here, buddy? We've talked about our Scott Fish Bowl. We've talked about we actually did more than an intro into DFS, but you did introduce all the different things that we're going to be doing, and then you're gonna help teach us. You're gonna teach me. I'm gonna need some help. I mean, you guys talked about some things in there that I didn't even know what you were talking about, but I was like, okay, they'll teach me.
Oh yeah.
And once you get into it, you're gonna just start absorbing information pretty quickly, and it's just fascinating. I will admit, last year I got more caught up in DFS than I did my dynasty leagues, and so because every game there's action.
It's instant satisfaction for the week, and you can switch it up next week. It does bad, whatever, dump them, get another team.
You could have a huge Thursday night and profit for the whole weekend. Yep. And then the rest is just fun.
Unfortunately, I used to profit a lot off that preseason too, and the preseason is gone because I had some depth in that preseason spots. I had some guys. Gardner Minshew, speaking of, he gave me some.
Hey, Raheem Mostert was a preseason hero.
Exactly, those guys, they can really produce in preseason. Preseason's even better because there's hardly anybody out there. So
right. As far as where we go from here, I just want to remind everybody, look, Jesse is a very talented writer. He's obviously well spoken. I highly encourage, if you haven't already, go to hammercast.com. Look at his articles. He's got an amazing article specifically focused on the Minshew, the mustachio. But he brings up some things in that article that are going to really surprise you. He already talked about the statistics. They're way better than people even realize. And one of the things that I love is that he was top 5 in rushing quarterbacks last year. And that's a little something that you want to get that article and read it. He also did what my favorite article that he's done so far is his red zone article on running backs and the red zone touches inside the 20, inside the 10, and inside the 5. And if you haven't seen that yet, you're missing out. He breaks it all out, and he talks about a few players and what their opportunities are and what they aren't. Based on red zone touches, and so you're going to really want to jump onto that as well. So I hope you do that.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to go to shot takes.
Yeah, I forgot to come up with one, but I can go pretty quick. You guys go first.
David, David, you go first.
I'll go one. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there because obviously we talked
Maybe we
about
should
it
just
with
all
the,
cheers and do yours.
well, we could. I'll do one.
Yeah. All right.
My shot take is Darius Geis will be a league winner.
Lord.
He will stay healthy, and he will finish as an RB1 this year. And I think that Rivera is going to find a way to utilize him and utilize him often. And I think he has the pass catching skills as well as the running skills. And I've been seeing his workout videos. And I think the best thing that could have happened to him was that MCL sprain at the end of last year to give him even more rest on that one injury. And so I think he's going to be a surprise that is going to really take the NFL by storm this year. If they obviously when they play.
I like
it's spicy, but you know what? He's always, put it this way, player profiler, who we all love. He's right. You know what? He and Jonathan Taylor are both profile comparison to Zeke Elliott. And his measurables.
I know people love him, but that's why it's a shot take. It's not supposed to be.
Take.
Yeah.
Shocker.
I love it. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys.
Hey, guys, stay tuned for the next episode. Tomorrow we've got John Camacho coming on. What's he going to talk about with us, Dave?
He's going to talk cornerback matchups. He's going to talk team projections. He's going to talk defensive, offensive line projections. He's going to talk about what he's going to put together his own YouTube show for our HammerCast network this fall, which is going to benefit both DFS and fantasy football season long. And so there's a lot of cool things that he adds to the mix, as well as what Jesse's providing, as well as what Kevin's providing. And so very, very proud of the guys' work that they're putting out right now, and we're looking forward to putting together what we feel is a pretty comprehensive package of information and knowledge that's going to help people grow.
Yeah, get in now, guys. There's stuff out there that it's different. We're not just regurgitating things that we're hearing on other podcasts or other shows. We're coming up with this information ourselves. We have some excellently written contributors and members of our team. Promise you, just go try it out. Just go take a look. It's free. It's easy. HammerCast.com. And then while you're there, if you haven't subscribed to the Hammer Nation, all you got to do is enter your email, and you are entered to win the Alvin Kamara signed jersey. I don't know if you know this, but those aren't very cheap.
I forgot about that.
We're giving that away
all month. As soon as you sign up for that email, and here's the thing, guys, we're not going to hit you with an email every day. There's company, we're going to hit you on with like once every couple of weeks or a month, and we're going to give you all the links of everything that we've added to the website. Yeah. And so it's not one of those things where we're going to just spam you. But that Alvin Kamara jersey is sweet.
It is sweet. I've got it in hand, waiting to find a new home. So just do that, hammercast.com. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be on there wherever it is you listen to them. Apple, Podbean, Spotify, whatever it is, Google. And like us and leave us a comment because we need those comments. We need those ratings. We need the audience so that we can keep doing this for you. Jesse, thank you so much for being here, man. You were a badass. And
hey, Jesse, this is going to be a fun year, buddy.
Oh yeah, I can't wait, man. I just need to get that HammerCast background, not this garage door background over here. I'm trying to block it.
Yeah,
hey, that garage door has character, man.
It does. I'll tell you, I'm sweating. Trust me, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, sweating profusely right now in this garage.
Well, you look good, man.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks a lot, David. We'll catch you tomorrow. Jesse, we'll catch you this week.
Definitely.
Until next time, guys. Peace out. We love you.
Peace.
See ya.
Later.
All right.
Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to HammerCast.com, subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time, keep grinding.